Kostas Tsimikas, I heard there was rumours around clubs being interested in him, but he's 100% happy at Liverpool. There's no chance he leaves at the moment, and Jurgen Klopp's more than happy. I posed this question into a group chat that I'm in. If we got 30 million for Kostas Tsimikas, would you take it? Anthony is shaking your head. There was calls from early in the season to, take over Robertson, and he has really pushed Robertson, Kris, but it is a bit of a, we've always needed a backup, especially for our fullbacks. It's one of our most important aspects on the pitch, and it's not really noticeable, is it, when Robertson doesn't play compared to Tsimikas? I'd probably say Tsimikas has a better right foot than Robertson too, which, is probably his only weakness in his game.
I'd have to disagree, to be honest, Charlie. I think that Robertson's ability to drive the team up the pitch is massively underrated. Trent really doesn't drive the ball like Robertson does. Robertson has this ability to move the team up the pitch, and even though you are right, Charlie, about Tsimikas' perhaps ability to cut inside more often, Robertson's ability to drive the team up the pitch whilst at the same time essentially playing a sort of third centre-back position is massively underrated. He's genuinely verging on best left-back in Premier League history territory. Many people will say Ashley Cole. Many people would be stupid. Ashley Cole was a centre-back playing left-back. He never created goals at all. And I think that in the modern game is quite valued. And this is in a time when Roberto Carlos was creating more goals than many other players in the world. So I really think that with that bearing in mind, Tsimikas has got a lot of maturing to do, and I think he's in the right place to do that. Although I'm really happy to hear James's retort.
I think this is where you're starting to try and define eras of time and what players did in certain things. So whilst I would say, yes, Ashley Cole was not the best attacking left back, he was the dirtiest, most annoying player that you could come up against if you're a right winger.
But I agree with you, James.
A lot. He was an integral part of it. It's not like he was a part-timer. So I think you define an attacking era against the defending era, and it's harder when you look at left and right backs for me, because that role has been revolutionised by Robertson and Trent. It's been completely redefined, because what Cafu and Roberto Carlos were doing was not generating numbers anywhere like this.
Well, Carlos had the season when he produced 13 assists, 14 assists. I did look into it when I did Robertson's video. But you see, the problem I have is that people say the game evolves. I just think the game gets better. I personally think that Ronaldo in 1980 would have scored an absurd amount of goals. And I think that we really don't value what's in front of us sometimes. We really don't value those amazing things when we see Robertson, for example, who I would genuinely, in world football right now, I'd struggle to find a better left back, a better all-round left back than Andy Robertson.
Oh, he's definitely the best in the world at the moment, no shadow of a doubt. How far you can put him in the all-time left back thing is definitely a debate that you could have at some point. Which I won't start now because I know it's Transfer Central and Charlie will cut it up.
No, how old? I'll get in on debate. How old is he? He's 20, 25, 26, correct?
26,
Robbo, he's 26 or 27, I think.
I mean, look, nowadays professionals are going till what? Mid-30s?
28.
He's 28? Oh, fair enough.
28. 11th of March, his birthday, so it was only recently.
Only just, okay. So, look, we've seen players play at the top of the game for years to come. He's going to be, let's say 4 years, he'll be 32. That's still 4 years, potentially 50-plus assists in them 4 years in the Premier League. Why can't he become the best left-back in Premier League history? I mean, I've been a very strong advocate that Trent Alexander-Arnold already the best right back in Premier League history. So why can't he? Yeah, I think Ashley Cole and he's out of my time, but is it Dennis Irwin?
Dennis Irwin's a fantastic player. But Dennis Irwin produced assists and scored goals, something Ashley Cole could never dream of.
Yeah, so look, I think there's a lot more competition regarding that, but I can't see how the hell in at minimum 4 years, in that time we could have at least 4 Premier League titles, and the whole debate of Ashley Cole has more trophies goes out the window with that.
Yeah,
Ashley Cole has better stats.
Side, though, Charlie, hasn't he? You can't just. Hopefully, and I say hopefully, Robertson can play all the way through. He does look like a really tough player, but all it takes is one bad injury, and they can lose.
Yeah, you can say that about any, and I prefer to look at it as he has never had a major injury in his career. Why should we be expecting one now? It's I think it's a rare instance, especially in nowadays game, that you do get a real career-ending injury.
But on the hopes of things, he's on track. He's definitely on track to do it. It's just that's the hope, isn't it?
So that's as a coach, that's a big bugbear of mine. I feel that what we often do is we sort of try to wait until a career is finished before we judge a player, and that like Andy Robertson now. For me, he's one of the best left backs in Premier League history because of what he's doing per minute. Does that make sense? So when we look at strikers, we say goals per minute. When we look at defenders, for example, we look at defenders and we've got to understand how many clean sheets per minute you get and how many interceptions per minute, and that's obviously relevant to the type of team they are. But Ashley Cole playing in a Chelsea team with, quite frankly, one of the most expensively constructed squads that's ever been. For anyone to say that he wasn't underperforming by not getting assists is lying. He should have been getting assists. And Robertson is. So per minute, he's currently up there. If he breaks his leg tomorrow, to me, that doesn't matter because he was one of the best players in the world.
But it does... And this is where reflection is an important point of it because it does change the story. Yeah, because you could have another 4 years of unbeatable numbers. So the point of waiting till something ends to reflect on it properly is sensible. Because if you call it mid-story, he could do a Cantona, just hypothetically. He could do something that completely tarnishes what he's accomplished. You don't know what that could be. He could do a Karius and cost us multiple things, and it tarnishes the memory. So reflection's an important point. To this point, he is bang on track to be the greatest left back in the Premier League.
I think at this moment you're very to argue the point that he isn't top 3 of all time, even just at this point. Top 3 might be pushing it, top 5, 1,000,000%. At this current moment, if he was to have a career-ending injury right this second, there's no doubt in my mind that he goes down as top 5 left backs ever in the Premier League.
Is he 5th in the all-time Premier League defenders assists, or is it European assists across all the leagues? It's something bonkers. Like Trent and Robbo are already in the top 5 in history. I think there's Zanetti and someone else ahead. I don't have the numbers in front of me.
Yeah, and you're looking at like the likes of Zanetti, the likes of Roberto Carlos, them real Cafu as well, them real people who really changed the game in them positions. Their careers were playing at top level teams for years and years and years. Robbo's been a Hull since like 2018. He's been playing Championship football. He's been playing Championship football in the Scottish Premier League. So it's just, I think his story as well really is something that for me, it's a massive thing to say, look where this guy's come from and now he is where he is. Like, it's a massive change. But, I think this could be a debate room topic, the best left back and right back in Premier League history. So we'll...
Charlie.
No worries. I enjoy going off on little tangents.